Lilly and Jack Sullivan, aged 4 and 6, have now been missing over 4 months. Their disappearance has drawn the attention of law enforcement, community members, national media, and a host of social media speculation. What began as a search for 2 children has now taken a deeper turn, after RCMP superintendent stated that people may know more than they are saying. In this video, the case, the superintendent's statement, and the impact on the community of Pictou County, Nova Scotia will be looked at. On May 1st, around 2:25 p.m., video footage captured the kids at Dollarama in New Glasgow, which is about 20 kilometers northeast of Lansdowne Station. They were there with their mom, Malaya Brooks Murray, their stepdad, Daniel Martel, and their baby sister. According to RCMP, this was the last time the children were seen in public. Brooks Murray and Martel told authorities they last saw Lilly and heard Jack early on the morning of May 2nd. They think the kids slipped out through the sliding glass door before the adults got up. The couple believed the children wandered into the nearby woods and called 911 at 10 a.m. when they woke up and realized the children were missing. Police stated from the onset of the investigation that there was no abduction. There was an extensive search. There is an ongoing intensive investigation. But now we see this statement, which comes from the Chief Superintendent, Dan Morrow. This is in connection, in fact, with the reward that the province of Nova Scotia is offering for information in this case. In this letter, it states the investigative team from Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit has referred this matter to me for support in seeking your consideration for its inclusion to the program, as they believe there are individuals who are privy to information that could result in locating Jack and Lilly Sullivan. I recommend that this case be added to the Rewards for Major Unsolved Crimes program for a period of 12 months, at which time the status of the file will be reviewed by the Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit. So he is clearly stating here that the Major Crime Unit investigating the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case believe there are individuals who are privy to information that could result in locating the children. This is a significant shift from the missing person case where it was believed that the children were lost in the woods. This document, by the way, was received through Freedom of Information by podcaster Canadian Gothic, who I believe is actually local to the Nova Scotia area. So kudos and thank you for your work in this case. The reward of up to $150,000 was announced on June 19th. The reward is payable in Canadian funds and will be apportioned as deemed just. Jack Sullivan is described as male, 3.5 feet in height, 40 pounds, with dark blonde hair and hazel eyes. At the time of his disappearance, Jack was believed to be wearing a pull-up diaper, black Under Armour jogging pants, and blue rubber boots with dinosaur print. Lilly Sullivan is described as a female, 4 feet in height, 60 pounds with light brown hair and hazel eyes. At the time of her disappearance, Lilly was believed to be wearing a pink Barbie top, pink rubber boots with rainbow print and carrying a cream-colored backpack with strawberry print. When this reward was announced, there was speculation and, in fact, some criticism as to why Dylan Ehler did not become part of the reward program as well. Dylan is a 3-year-old little boy who went missing from the Truro, Nova Scotia area, May 6, 2020. His boots were found near a river close to, in proximity of where he disappeared from his grandmother's front yard. It would appear, at least in part, as to why Dylan Ehler was not included in the reward program, and that is because, as Superintendent of the RCMP stated, Major Crimes believes there are people who have knowledge regarding the whereabouts of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and that may not be the case in the Dylan Ehler missing persons investigation that is, by the way, still open and ongoing. In fact, just this past year, Please Bring Me Home, a volunteer-led national organization, conducted a search with community members and the boy's father, Jason Ehler. 5 volunteers from the organization from Ontario flew in and began their search along the CN rail line not too far from where Ehler went missing. So what does this mean for the area of Pictou County? The Walrus Canadian Conversation, an online publication, published, in fact, on September 16th an article regarding the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. And in that article, Robert Parker, warden of the municipality of Pictou County, said the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan has been unlike anything his community has ever faced. As the elected leader for the area, which includes Lansdowne Station, he has watched the region he describes as close-knit become the focus of national security. It becomes almost like a TV show. He was quoted as saying, but the important thing to remember is that at the end of all of this is real people. That spotlight has weighed heavily on families in the county, especially children who attended Salt Springs Elementary alongside Lilly and Jack. Parker says parents have become more protective, hesitant to let their kids play alone until the mystery is resolved. I think it's really difficult for the family and neighbors, he says. We need to find answers. We need to know what happened to our little ones. Into this climate of uncertainty have stepped volunteer groups, among them, as mentioned earlier, was Please Bring Me Home, founded by Nick Oldreif, who has worked closely with the family of Dylan Ehler, who disappeared in 2020. Oldreif says he had hoped to assist in the Sullivan search, but was already leading the volunteer effort for Dylan's case on the 5-year anniversary of Dylan Ehler's disappearance. He sees troubling parallels between the Ehler and Sullivan disappearances. He was quoted as saying, I can't imagine the toll it has taken on them to think that the public looks at them as being responsible. Oldreif says the surprising thing to him is how quick people are to that judgment without having the information. For their part, police remain cautious. RCMP Corporal Tremblay told CBC News in July that the public must be patient, pointing to the frequency of RCMP updates while stressing the need to hold back certain details. Criminologist Michelle Genus of the University of Louisiana says this approach is common. Law enforcement always has more evidence than they release, she explained. They're cautious with details they can't yet prove, and they avoid saying things that they might tip off anyone who is under surveillance. Genus, who studies how missing person cases are portrayed in the media, calls it extremely rare for a child, let alone two, to vanish without leaving behind a trace. In her view, the most important tools investigators now have are to keep the story in the public eye and to continue their searches. Despite the lack of resolution, Parker says the community recognizes the effort from everyone involved. He's quoted as saying, "The fact that we didn't find Jack and little Lily does not reflect at all on the hard work that went in here from so many people, including the RCMP. Everybody gave it their all." Still, as the new school year begins, the weight of the unanswered hangs over Pictou County. The peace residents long for, the truth about what happened to Lily and Jack, remains painfully out of reach. Any information regarding any of these cases can be reported to Crime Stoppers in Nova Scotia at 1-800-222-8477 or at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca. To ensure that you receive updates on any of these cases, as well as following along with any of the other crime cases that are covered in this channel, please make sure that you follow, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much to my current followers and subscribers who support this channel and the work that I do. Thank you so much.